So good morning world. Morning world? That sounds like Farmer P. Last night it was supposed to be -5, -6 in their area. Today I went out with the dribble bar after milking because ground's in great shape, and I didn't want to be going out this morning if everything was going to be frozen. I didn't want to be slurrying on top of frozen ground, nor did I want to deal with a dribble bar that was frozen as well. I slurried away for about 2 hours and I done all the paddocks up because our cows are actually out now. And I'm sorry about that, I didn't get any footage of the cows going out for the first day. They're down there at the minute. But the moral of the story is today, it didn't freeze last night, and all the talk there was, that was good. It means that I can come in and do a couple of paddocks that I still have to do. I've just 3 paddocks here, which would be the wettest paddocks we have, but they're in good style now at the minute. And my dribble bar is sitting behind you in the field from last night. And you might say, why'd you leave the tractor in the field for last night for? Well, the reason I left it out was I wanted to leave the dribble bar down like that, so that if it was going to freeze, the stuff would all run out of the dribble bar and it wouldn't be holding any stuff in the pipes, because if you have them folded up, there'll be a loop, and in that loop there's going to always be something laying there, and that was going to freeze. Another thing was the wheels was clogged with dirt, and I said if to get a chance to dry and then I move it, which I'm about to do, a lot of that dirt might fall off in the field, which I don't think it will do. But anyway, that was the kind of thinking behind that. I just walked the whole way over here with no keys for the tractor. Right, just letting her heat for a wee bit. I got a temperature warning light here which comes on these massies when it's really cold outside, and then the rev automatically goes up to about 1200 just to heat the engine up quicker. The trick about the wheels being dirty and letting them sit in the field for a while, so the frost would hopefully allow it to all fall off as soon as I'm going to move the tractor, actually did work. The unfortunate thing was I drove forward instead of reverse, and I put it all in the lane anyway. We're just going into the wettest paddock here. This is my last Logan into it. I don't think we've ever been able to go into this field in March before. One thing I keep making a mistake with, I keep forgetting to hit that button, and every time I'm going to turn the macerator on, I'm lifting the back arms. And it's just a habit I have to break, and I still keep doing it. I don't know why, I just still keep doing it. Does anyone else have that issue where you keep forgetting to click that little button to switch over the hydraulic oil so that it's not lifting the boom anymore, it's running the macerator? I don't know, I just cannot seem to break that habit. I try not to miss too many bits. There's never any rabbits in this field, and it's probably too cold for them anyway, so I don't have to leave any lanes or gaps in between for the rabbits to not dirty their feet. That is every paddock done now, right up behind where our cows is. You have a great sense of achievement when you can get jobs that done in March, like in early March, never mind. One thing I will say about the dribble bar, and it's one thing that might be important for you to check if you have one yourself, if you don't know about it. When I was parking this machine up, I remember I asked one of the lads in Mastech, well, not really, I don't associate him with one of the lads in Mastech. He's a friend of ours, he only lives up the road from us, and kids, we go to school together and play together. I know him a lifetime. And I just rang him one evening and asked him, do I have to do anything with that macerator now when it's going to be sitting over the winter time? He said, yeah, open it up and spray some oil in around the blades and around the plates that are in there. It'll stop it from basically welding itself together with rust. Because anything you know yourself with slurry, it's going to rust. But you probably have already that done, because I asked him this question in January and I stopped using it in October. And of course, I said, yeah, of course I did do it. It did need some oil to get the thing to move, because it was slow to get going. And after a wee while with a bit of diesel and oil, it worked the best. Another thing as well to check on yours is the stone trap. I always thought there was no stones in our tank. Reason being was when we opened the back door of this, the tank was spotless inside. Well, though it has a lot of scale, that I was worried about. But the tank itself had no grit in it. So I said to myself, we're never going to have to really worry about stones and grit. I was wrong. I opened that a couple of weeks ago just to see was there any stones in it. My father was with me, and it was full to the top of grit. It just hadn't got its way up where it'd be getting into the macerator or not getting down into that trap. It still was a little bit of room, and it was just like cement trying to take it out, just pure grit. Look it, I learned from my own mistakes as I go along. It might help you with yours. crack. Right, that's just feeding our calves there now. We have had a wee issue with our calves. They're thriving. They're not sick or anything, but as I say an odd time, you can tell an awful lot by an animal about what comes out. You know where, right? Some of you might be having a cup of tea or breakfast or dinner, whatever time this video goes up at. So I don't want to get too gory, but say number twos, right? For the crack of it. And you can tell an awful lot about it. And with these calves here, I noticed one on MarketPlace about 2 weeks ago. This is our oldest batch, 6 heifer calves here. And I noticed that their poo went black. It went jet black, which was unusual. I haven't seen it go that colour before. So I asked the vet about it, and he said it could be coccidiosis. So I treated for coccidiosis about 3 weeks ago. Got it last year in this house as well. So it's probably in the house, even though the house was washed and disinfected. It didn't cure the problem. It definitely didn't cure the problem. And we still kind of sort of have it, but it is improving, thankfully. But you can see there on the ground, if you can pick it up, there, it's not as black as it was. Like, I mean, it was as black as tar before this. But it's starting to come good now. It's a little bit solid, well that's because they're on straw and crunch and stuff, but it is starting to rectify itself. But it took the whole 3 weeks for it to come back to itself. But I was speaking to a different vet, same place, just a different vet. And he gave me more information about it than I had got before. So he asked me, when you're feeding your calves, your MarketPlace or milk or whatever it is, when do you give your crunch or your muesli or whatever you give, when do you give it? And I said, well, straight away. Normally when I feed them, when they've drank, I put the muesli straight into their trot. These are gone on to crunch now. Muesli first, crunch, and then I do mixed in pencils and kind of mix them, wean them onto that, and eventually they'll go into calf cubes later on. But he said, what I think you're doing is you're giving your concentrated feed way too quick after the calves get milk. And he asked me then, do you notice the calves eat the crunch very quickly after the drink? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So what happens is the milk goes into a separate stomach of where the muesli would be going or where the concentrated meal would be going. And if you feed them too quick after you've given them the milk or MarketPlace, makes no difference. Liquid form, put it that way. And it can go into the wrong stomach, and that can cause stomach ulcers. So your black manure, he says, is more likely down to blood. So we made the change a few days ago, and I can already see the colour is starting to come back to the natural colour. I'm relieved to see that, but the colour is starting to come back. Not fully, but it's a little bit of an improvement coming back. But that's it, one I never heard tell of, and if you have the same issue, well, there you go. So now I feed the cows their milk, and then I'll wait for about a half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and then I'll come back and give them their crunch. There's another 6 calves in another pen up above in the other house, and they have no problem at all. They're getting the milk and the crunch at the one time, but they're on solid milk, not MarketPlace, so whether that makes any difference or not, I don't know. But they could be just lucky, I don't know, and I don't know if that's 100% what's causing it. I'll give you an update on them later on, as a month or so, and see what happens. But I think they're okay now. Judging by what I'm seeing, I'm quite happy. So myself and Sophia, I'll say hello, Sophia. We're just taking in the cows here. She's going to take the cows in for me. Having all our cows out. We have 12 cows left to calve yet. We have 6 cows that are in the shed that I haven't let out yet because they're not calved long enough. I always give them 3 or 4 days before I let them out onto grass after the calve for fear they'd get tetany. But Sophia's putting them in here now, and we are taking down our fence. Yesterday we were out grass measuring in this paddock here. It's a nice cover, and you can see there grass grew very well. I'm just hoping we're not going to get a hell of a frost tonight again, because that makes a hand of the whole thing. So I'm splitting this field in half. I'm giving them a big area. I'm not holding them back too much so that they do the least amount of harm, because we don't want to tramp fields. We definitely don't want to tramp it if we can help it. So I'm going to take this fence down, and then I'm going to go back and follow Sophia over. She'll have the parlour ready for me, or Nicole's probably getting the parlour ready as we speak by wetting it down and getting ready for milking, and we'll get cracking at that. Alright, so it's a couple of days later, and we've had a bit of progress, or made a bit of progress on our workshop. The first thing you're going to notice is we now have our access door in, and I fitted this last night. I didn't make it myself, and I've often made doors. I've made every single door that's nearly on our farm. I have made myself, apart from 2 sliding doors down there on our slatted shed. Everything else I pretty much made myself. But I just, time, especially when you're editing and making YouTube videos, for instance, time doesn't always be on your side, and the school runs is actually something that makes my day a lot shorter. It's vital to do, obviously, but when you're doing them kind of things, dads will understand it does take up a lot of your time. So I don't just get the free time I used to get. So I just went locally and I asked Carl's Engineering beside me to make a door for me. I just asked for something very simple, straightforward, and I give them the measurements, and I hoped that I had the measurements right, because when I picked it up I was thinking about the whole way home, is this going to fit? When I put it in, I didn't even have to bolt it. It is bolted now, but that time I didn't have to bolt it. It was so tight, the door just opened and closed straight away. So brilliant job, really happy. So really happy with that. Job complete. I did go with it opening outwards, and that's purely down to the advice I got from you guys, and so many people said, Agent, don't have it open inwards, outwards. It's way more secure, it's out of your way in the workshop, and it's the way to go. And you're right, I did listen to you, and that's the only reason why I did it this way. If I had been doing it myself off camera, I probably would have had it opening inward, which now when I see it like this, that was the right way. So that's that job done. I'm going to open this lid in some light. Every time I go near this door, I always remember a show called Bosco. Showing me age here, but Bosco used to have a magic door. He used to say, knock knock, open wide, see what's on the other side, knock knock, evermore come with me to the magic door. Is that what it was? I can't, maybe someone can take me in that one. But we're in. You can see behind me, I have all the conduit got. I'm going to start wiring this now at the weekend. I'm going to run all the sockets, run all the conduit. I'm going to put in the fuse box. I'm going to run the whole thing with lights and all. I have lights here that I bought over the weekend. They're kind of like them, I don't know what the name of them are. They're like a UFO style light. I actually seen them on a dairy farm only there recently. I was actually delivering the tipsy bin, and there was the prize for our fundraiser. I seen the lights that had it up on a new shed, and I asked them where they got them, and they didn't actually know themselves because the electrician supplied them, but I looked them up and I found where I could get them, and I bought them myself. I'm super excited about putting them up because they're really bright, but I can make alterations to them just to get them to the whatever brightness I want, which is deadly. But I have all that to do, all the sockets to run, and then my electrician will come and he'll just do the final hookup and just certify the thing, make sure the thing's right, safe and proper. But the majority of work I can do myself. But that's not why I took you in here. That's not the real reason. But behind you is, this is something that I seen online, and a lot of you that work in the catering business or restaurants or whatever would probably sick of looking at something like this. But this is just a catering bench. I'm not sure what this one would have been used for. Slots going in there. Maybe someone who has experience in that could tell me what this one was for. Is that for keeping plates warm, or would there be trays maybe pulling out? I don't know. It has a sliding drawer here with all the compartments, which is going to be ideal for what I want. I have timbers out there. I'm going to go off and buy some angle iron and just make an angle iron square, 4 legs on it, maybe prop it in the centre as well, and then our timbers just fall into place into the angle iron, if you get me. That's the way I built the one I have in the little tool shed down below. But this popped up, and it wasn't big money for what it is. Stainless steel, and it is extremely heavy, extremely heavy. I paid €350 for it, so you can work that out yourself. Did I pay too much? I don't think so. Not for stainless steel, and not for this particular one, because I liked the way it was reinforced across here. All of these, although they're only for shelving, they all add support from the bottom upwards, so they're all putting strength to it. And that there, I don't know if the camera shows it, but that there is very, very strong. The vice didn't come with it. My vice is just my own vice I bought back a few weeks ago. That's in the Eclipse. It doesn't really matter the brand. It's the same one that I got down the other tool shed. I just bought it locally. So it's not a big expensive vice for the size of it. I know you could spend hundreds and hundreds and maybe even nearly £1,000 on a really good vice, but I don't need it. That there will do everything I want. It's not fixed to anything yet. It's only sitting there for the time being, but that door might look like it's sitting wonky. That's because it is. It's on rollers on the top, but something's broken off here, so it's not keeping the door out like that. So all I'll have to do is probably get some of them little furniture plugs, put them just here and there the whole way along it, and it'll just keep it out, and it'll open and close. And then when you look at these here, my idea would be to make drawers play with draws either on rollers or just have them sliding straight in. Just have tools and stuff in them. The stuff you would use all the time if you're working on small engines or anything like that. Just the most handiest tools, have them right beside you. That's what I'll probably do with them, because you couldn't put stuff in there. I don't know what you'd ever put in there. And there's the thing there. When these are sharp, I misplaced that and I had to make one. But what did I make it for? I made it on video. I was short one, couldn't find it until now. Seen it hanging on that nail. But what was it for? That's it, guys, and I'll leave it there for now. Plenty to happen now, plenty of work to be done. But that's for other videos. Talk to you in the next one.